I've just kidnapped this dog. I think I may have walked into a minefield. Bit of a disaster. Yeah, it looks alright, structurally. We affectionately termed those in the army murder holes.
Controversial one, having Kevin Spacey on your list.
And it's like an abandoned bar, I guess. Whatever, you just leave the keys in the ignition and if someone wants it, they can have it. And this was the hotel. Mum's having some breakfast. It's not noodles, it's actually dog food. It's just in the, I just have that, that's the only bowl that I've really got. But it seems to work quite well actually. And here's the pups. Hello. Hello. Hey, there you go. Oh, they're just so cute. They're very playful, trying to chew my clothes and chew my shoelaces off as well. I'm not sure where the stepdad has gone. There was another dog who's definitely not actually their father, as far as I can tell, but appears to be sticking around, so I've called him the stepdad. Look at all of these puppies. Oh, aren't you sweet? There you go. Wait. If this is the first time you've watched a video on this channel, you probably think this channel is just about a man who drives around the Balkans feeding stray dogs, and that's not actually quite right. Hello. Aren't you adorable? Oh, you look a bit wet. You look a bit shy as well. No, it's not. It's a channel really dedicated to car camping, travelling and seeing things. But you know what? There's just so many stray dogs around here in the Balkans that I've just got a big bag of dog food now, and I just, wherever I go, I just feed these dogs. You can clearly tell some of the alpha males rather than others. Like I would try and feed one of the smaller ones and they wouldn't even take the biscuit. And they'll just wait for a bigger dog to come and eat it, which is kind of sad. And I don't know if you can tell, but they've all got like clipped ears, like cattle in the UK. I guess these are like wild dogs, but they get their ears clipped or something, so people can, I don't know, vets can know which dog is which or something like that. I'm not sure. In Russia, they give dogs tattoos. I'm not the only one who feeds them because someone else has actually left these dogs some food. I would guess it's kind of like a community effort. I just like hanging out with dogs. I like dogs, so they're all really greasy and grimy and dirty, so as much as I would love to stroke them, and they probably deserve a good pet, yeah, they're not the cleanest. All very well mild-mannered, nice temperaments as far as I can tell. I think that's a Rottweiler back there. Hey, hello. 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 Hey, shh. I got food. I had to throw away an entire thing of perfectly good noodles so I would have a clean pot to give this pooch some water. It's so hot today. I don't see any puddles or anything around here. Just drunk all of that water, 2 full pot noodle cups full, so I think you probably needed it. Did you need it? Yeah? Okay, you're a good boy. There's no houses within, I'd say, a mile, maybe 2 miles of here. If I call someone and say, oh, there's a stray dog here, there's stray dogs everywhere. They're just going to be like, yeah, welcome to Bosnia. He's just taking some shade. I don't blame you. It is warm. But yeah, I'm struggling with this a lot really. And it worries me a little bit that they're right on the road. So many of these dogs must get hit by cars. Although they are quite savvy, they do know to walk on the side of the road. I've seen them doing it, but yeah, it's really tough. Come on, come on. I'm taking you somewhere else. Come on, come on, come on. Hey, come on, come on. In. In. That's it. Good boy. Right. Well, this is one of the most insane things I've ever done. I feel like I've just kidnapped this dog. Good boy. All right. Okay, I'm just going to take you to a place where there's some other dogs. All right. Okay. Alright, here we go. Look, there's water, shade, friends. Come on then, come on, come on. I don't think he's been here before. Oh shit. Okay, alright. Okay. Ah, well, this hasn't gone quite how I'd planned. It seems like these dogs don't like this guy. Hey, hey, hey. There's not a lot else I can do. I'm not taking him to the other place with the mum and the two puppies because I'm not risking the two puppies. And there's nowhere else to take him, so he's going to stay here and there's really nothing I can do about it. I'm staying in this area for the next day or two, so I'll make sure he gets some water and food for the next couple of days. But what else can I, honestly, what else can I do? There's so many stray dogs in Bosnia. I looked it up. No one's going to do anything, so there we go. And he really wants to get in the car. He keeps trying to climb in the car. I think he enjoyed that car ride. So someone just came through and dropped another dog off here. And it's the most adorable female dog ever. Looks a little bit like a golden retriever. Isn't a golden retriever, but looks like one. Acts like one. It's very, very sweet. I'm guessing it's some kind of like vet or some kind of charity who I guess maybe takes them in and does, I don't know, gives them injections or something. This one causes all the trouble because that is the friendliest dog ever, really sweet. And this guy, he's not happy. You're a monster. Okay, I've come to the pet shop. I've come to Pet City just because I run out of dog food and there's still so many stray dogs up there. I know obviously I can't do this forever, but I'm just gonna try and give as many of them as like a good meal as I can. So I've gone and bought some doggy essentials, spent about £20 so that I can feed them. But they've gone and I don't know where they've gone. The only thing I can think of is there's a little forest here. That's the only place I can think of that they could have gone because I didn't see them when I was driving up. I'm gonna go take a look in the forest and we'll see if we can find them. I will be quite sad if I can't find them because I've grown quite attached to... Oh, bollocks. I think I may have walked into a minefield. Or very near to one. I don't know. I don't know how well you can see that sign. But yeah, all minefields have to be signposted. Well, I hope the dogs didn't come this way. I'll I am going to retrace my steps back out of the forest. Not good. Right. Okay. Back we go. Okay, well, we're alive, so that's good. I feel like possibly they could put those signs maybe closer to the road rather than 30 meters into the forest. I mean, that is probably where the minefield starts. I probably didn't go into it, I don't know. But let's save everyone the bother, you know, and there you go. You're welcome. Right, see you later. There you go. I might be going crazy, but that dog looks just a little bit happier, which is really sweet. Just got her legs crossed. Okay, my two favourite dogs came back to this spot. This is turning into quite the saga. But yeah, the black dog and the dog that looks like a golden retriever and might not be a golden retriever, they both came back. It's freezing. I'm gonna just give them a ton of food, and yeah, let's do it. Well, good morning. I am here with my two favourite little pooches, and yeah, I just had a knock at the window, which is unusual when you live in a car, very briefly. And yeah, it was the Bosnian police. They were very nice, actually. They're very kind. At first, they were a bit suspicious, and they were saying, you know, because I'm quite close to the border with Croatia, like any kind of suspicious activity tends to be assumed that it's smuggling activity, trying to smuggle, you know, refugees from Bosnia, not from Bosnia, but you know, trying to smuggle people from Bosnia through into Croatia. They're not, you know, refugees who are Bosnian. They've come from elsewhere. Anyway, that's at first I was pretty nervous because I was like, oh God, have I committed some kind of crime here? Which I haven't, but you know, when you've got like two very suspicious Bosnian police officers looking at you, I will say thank God, because they both spoke absolutely perfect English, which, you know, if they hadn't, I think that could have been a slightly more painful encounter. Anyway, as he left, the guy said, enjoy putting this in your video, so here it is, it's in my video, and he's got my YouTube name, so maybe he will see it. Yeah, I didn't film the encounter because I don't know, just caught me off guard, I suppose, a little bit. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here today. Clearly, I don't know if it's the police themselves who've just stopped because they've seen it, or if like some locals have called in and said, hey, there's a crazy UK vehicle just at the side of the road. But either way, time to punch out, I think, which is a shame because it means I've got to leave these pooches behind, but I'll give them one last very good meal, and then I'll go up and I'll see the mum with her two pups, and then yeah, then I'll get out of here. Just had a nice big breakfast, which hopefully that'll keep her fed and happy for a while. Quite hard to feed her with the male around because he's clearly the alpha and she almost doesn't want to eat in front of him, but I can usually just kick him out of the way, and not literally, and get her to eat. Right, today is the day we start heading towards Sarajevo. I should say I've been here in this area for 4 days, and I've been here, this is my third day, second night in this exact spot. So I suspect probably a local may have called the police on me, which is fair enough. If you're a concerned citizen, then you should call the police. Of course, you and I both know I'm not doing anything wrong. But yeah, people who are passing by obviously don't know that, so that's fair enough. I think I've stayed as long as I have because of the dogs, and I feel a little bit bad leaving them, particularly these two, because it's just right at the side of the road, and I think like when Hey, what's the purpose of that? Not bad. And one last time feeding mum. Well, I've arrived at this gorgeous spot in the woods, but actually I don't think I can stay because there's no internet, and I need to do a thumbnail and upload a video today onto YouTube because it's Friday. So that's really frustrating. Although there are a lot of bugs flying around, and I'm not exaggerating. Let me show you. Can you see that? I'm sure, I think it is coming through on the camera. Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen this many bugs before. I feel very outnumbered. Well, I thought I'd go for a bit of a wander through the forest. I may as well now I'm here. I don't think I'm going to be able to stay the night because of the internet situation, unfortunately, so I'll have to find somewhere a bit more urban. But I thought I'd take a little walk through the woods just because, why not? I'm here, it's very beautiful. I wonder what this is for. Probably for hunters, I imagine. Anyway, there's bears in these woods somewhere. I don't know where, but I'm keeping an eye out for them. From a safe distance, I would love to see a bear. I really would. I think they're brown bears. But yeah, at the same time, you know, they could just maul you to death, so it's tricky. Well, you know what? I thought that was like a track, but really, I can't see the continuation of a track anywhere. And if it's not on a track, I don't really want to walk it because it's a very big forest and you could very easily get turned around, get lost and not be able to find your way back. I wonder how strong this is. Oh yeah. It's like your own little throne up here, like being in a little tree house. It's quite cool, bringing out the youth in me, I think. Yeah, I like it. I'm quite easily impressed, clearly, but yeah, it's very cool. You get a nice view, look. I presume this is used for resting a rifle and shooting. So this tiny, like, single lane road that I'm driving on at the moment is the M5. So this is a motorway in Bosnia, and to be fair, it is the most motorway looking thing that I have seen in Bosnia, and yeah, there's not really a lot to it. It's like a B road in the UK. I'm being completely honest and serious there. Look at this place. Oh my God. Look at this mountain range. Down there you've got the lake. I can't what? I can't get over it. Wow, that's stunning. That's amazing. It's gonna be a nice drive, I think. Bosnia. Ooh, naughty. What a little secret that is. Stunning. Obviously it's not a secret. It's just only a secret to idiots who don't know about it. Cool. It's an old chimney. I think it's an old chimney. Very cool. Well, I found a nice little place to park up on the lake last night. Not on the lake, but next to the lake. And yeah, it's just a beautiful place to wake up to. It's really warm now. I've overstayed my welcome a little bit. I think it's nearly 10 o'clock. Now in the meantime, I'm heading to another place because I still have a lot of video editing to catch up with. Now, it's kind of a campsite, but kind of not, okay? But the reason I can justify it is because it says it's free to stay, and my understanding is it's owned by like a father and son, Bosnian, and they have like a restaurant there, so you can park there for free, and then I guess kind of the expectation is you'll have some food there, and it's right on a river, and they tend to catch fish and grill fish, and you can eat the grilled fish. So that sounds pretty amazing to me. It sounds like a pretty cool experience, so we're gonna just go and do that, I think. Well, I did visit the little restaurant by the river, and it's an amazing place. It's run by a father and son, and actually I really enjoyed it there, but it was so busy, and I couldn't film too much because there were children playing in the river and things like that. So I'm gonna head off and find somewhere else a little bit quieter, but have a look at this place. Crazy. I guess it's like some kind of old dam, reservoir, something like that. But it's just really interesting to see like the river just poking through a hole blasted through the bottom of it. I love it. Very interesting. God knows what any of this means, except for that mental freedom. I do understand that. Let's try not to get wet feet. Well, I left the place I was at yesterday, the sort of river commune thing, and I thought, oh, it'd be so easy to find parking somewhere, but it wasn't. I'm kind of parked just on the outskirts of a town, still next to a river. I mean, it's still a really beautiful place. I feel very blessed to be here. I'm just surrounded by mountains and hills and forest. I mean, it's pretty amazing. But yeah, it's a little bit more urbanized than I might like for a park up. But I was pretty desperate, and I just parked here. There's nothing really good around on the Park for Night app. I tried to park outside Tito's bunker, which I thought would be pretty cool. But there was a big stop sign, and it didn't look very, not like a normal road stop sign. It was across the road. It was like a toll bar. Anyway, plan for today. The plan for today is video editing, a lot of it. So I am quite far behind with my video editing. I'm still editing the Croatia video, and I'm almost into Serbia, so not good. So there's a lot to catch up on. And then tomorrow I'll head into Sarajevo, so you probably won't see much of me today. And then tomorrow we'll hit Sarajevo, which I think will be really interesting. And then we've got to start thinking about going into Serbia. Why is there someone in a Ukrainian G-Wagon, matte black, driving around in the middle of Bosnia? That's a bit odd. Dodging the draft, maybe. Oh look, they're Ukrainian as well, in the Porsche. How bizarre. Well, I'm just outside Sarajevo. I'm kind of on the hillside just outside Sarajevo, and more stray dogs. I thought as we got close to the capital city there wouldn't be as many, but and to be fair, there aren't as many. This is the first dog that I've seen, but yeah, I've just given her some food and some water, although it doesn't seem to enjoy the food that much, so someone else is probably feeding the pup. Well, good morning. I've got some pretty crazy hair going on, but I am parked just outside Sarajevo, in the hills just outside Sarajevo, and what a cool view to wake up to. I'm not exactly sure what this is, but we'll take a look at it. Now, this isn't exactly where I wanted to park, if I'm completely honest, and I'll show you where I tried to park last night, and it was not a success. It's just up the way, and I've got some video footage of everything that went wrong and my panic as it was going wrong. But first, let's take a look at this. It's pretty cool. Some kind of old building. I don't really know exactly. Let's have a look at it. What a strange thing to write on the wall. It just says short. Odd, but to each their own. That's really cool. Hey look, see how they've done that? So it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe you've got to line it up right, but it kind of goes through. It won't come through properly on the camera, but it looks pretty cool actually. Anyway, getting sidetracked. Oh, some old rug, some old carpet. A bit mangy. Yeah, this is quite cool. Oh wow. Interesting. A couple of dogs. I don't know what they're trying to get at, but there are so many stray dogs in Bosnia, as you've probably seen in this video by now, since I just keep buying bags of dog food and going around feeding all the stray dogs in Bosnia. Which is turning out to be quite an expensive habit, really eating into my very tiny net worth. Alright, well, enough of that. Let me show you where I tried to park last night. And before we do that, I just want to point out, my car does have ground clearance, okay? Look, there is a pretty good amount of ground clearance there in the car. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Right, let's go take a look. Now, I don't know how well you can see this, but the stairs that I've just climbed take me to this bobsled track. And it's like this old abandoned bobsled track on the hill, just running down on the outside of Sarajevo. doesn't feel very stable or secure, but it's super cool. And actually, because it's abandoned, there's all this graffiti on the inside. It's kind of amazing. I'll show you. You can see all the way at the top of the hill there, round the corner, and actually it goes way further. That's where the bobsled track starts, and then it just comes all the way down and around. I don't know if you're really allowed to just hop in the track and walk it, but it's about 7 AM here, and I don't think anyone's gonna tell me off, so I think we'll give it a go. Been a while since I've done a bit of parkour, but anyway, look at this. This is like the slow motion perspective that you would get coming through here, except you'd be going 100 miles an hour, staring at the corner thinking, oh God, I hope the Bosnian builders put this together correctly. Pretty cool, wow. Okay, so now you've kind of got your understanding of the geography of where we are a little bit. You've got the bobsled track here, and just down there, maybe 50 meters, is where I am parked. Now, with that in mind, see this little track over here? Maybe you can't, maybe you can. That is where I attempted to park. Now on the Park for Night app, it says amazing view of Sarajevo by the old observatory. Need ground clearance, and I thought, well, I've got ground clearance, it'll be all right. And as I approach it, I'm thinking, yeah, this looks fine. And yeah, bit of a disaster. Now you can see my tracks along there and somewhere along here, even though it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad, but somewhere along here, the bottom of the car touched the top of the ground. Sound good, but it wasn't that bad, and I just thought, okay, push on, not a big deal. Now coming up through here is where I started to get a little bit concerned. Keep in mind it was really late at night, and I just thought, you know what, if I get the car beached here, it's a pretty bad spot to be in. So I thought, okay, fine, well, I'll just reverse down, it won't be that hard. But as I'm reversing down, you can kind of see the angle as I'm reversing down, and we just slipped off there. Now obviously it's really late, it's really dark, and I can't see how steep that is. So I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm about to fall off the side of the cliff. I have to give it some real revs, punch it back up, straighten up, and then come back down. But I'll tell you, it looks ridiculous now because it's daylight, right? And I can see everything, and actually I'd be willing to drive up here again now, except for maybe this bit looks a bit tricky. But other than that last bit there, I'd be willing to drive up here in the Honda now, but because it was so dark, man, it was just a little bit scary. Anyway, this is where I was trying to get to. It's the first time I'm seeing it, but it's pretty cool. I mean, what do you think? And there's some makeshift picnic benches. We'll check that out in a minute. Why don't I let you see what I'm seeing? That is Sarajevo, the capital city of Bosnia. I never found out, but apparently that view is especially amazing at night. I can see why this is a spot on Park for Night, because it is really flat up here and you're not going to get disturbed, and it's a pretty cool place to hang out. But I think I'm going to leave a review, not a negative one, but one that just says, you know, be wary of the type of vehicle you're trying to take up here, or just have some bigger balls than me and get your vehicle up here. Right, the observatory. Someone just written sex above the door. Okay, strange. Now I wonder, obviously here in the Balkans there's been a terrible civil war in the 1990s, if you're not familiar with that. But I wonder if those little holes in there are all bullet holes, and potentially that was used as a bit of a sniper's nest. I don't know if that's true. Maybe I'll do some research, but I mean, look, you're on the absolute high ground. I can see that a sniper would potentially want to use that to fire from. But then, having said that, whilst that looks shot to pieces, this doesn't. So maybe not. I don't know. We're definitely going up there, even though it looks like it's going to collapse. First though, I think we'll go through the sex door and we'll see what's in here. Ah, okay. Is that an old Slipknot sticker? Interesting. Jork. Sarajevo throws. Sarajevo throws. What do they mean by this? No. Well, I'll show you where this leads. Nowhere. A smarter man than me could have predicted that. Yeah, it looks alright. Structurally. Yeah. Ooh. I don't think this is going to last much longer. Large parts of the floor have already collapsed, and it is a long way down, so you've got to keep that in mind. Well, in fact, actually, the easiest thing to do is just not even think about it, because if you fall, you fall. But I mean, look, yeah, it's a long way down. I'm starting to think more and more now that this building was used for snipers, because you see these sort of cracked out bits at the bottom. We affectionately termed those in the army murder holes because it's very hard to know when someone's in a murder hole, to detect them or do anything about it. Very easy for them to see you and kill you. So yeah, murder holes. For perspective of how high we are up in this clapped out, about to collapse building, that's the roof of the other building. Yeah, I quite like that someone's turned the hole in the wall into that guy's mouth. It's quite clever. I've come to really kind of appreciate graffiti a lot more than I ever did in the past. I guess because I've taken some time to stop and look at it and see it more as art and less as, I guess, just the scribblings of frustrated teenagers. And it's probably both, but hey. Right, let's get out of here. Let's go to Sarajevo. It's hot. I don't need this. It's probably going to be 35 degrees again today. Absolutely disgusting weather. God damn you, Bosnia. Why are you so hot? Right, we survived. For perspective again, you can see the building behind me. It's not going to stay alive much longer, is it? It's a bit buggered. Oh well, right, let's get back to the car, get this jacket off and get into Sarajevo. So I was just chatting to two people and speaking English to each other, American accents, and so I just stopped them and I said, oh hey, have you checked out, there's an observatory just up the way? And they were like, yeah, we were there a year ago. And I was like, oh right, oh okay, oh you've been here before? And they were like, yeah, we live here. So anyway, so I did a little bit of inquiring. And despite speaking perfect English with an American accent, they're Bosnian. Super interesting. And they were telling me there used to be a lot of furniture in the observatory and things like that. I should have asked them if it was a sniper's nest at any point, but they've given me a couple of pointers about a park in Sarajevo, so I'm going to go and check that out. Hello, no, it's all right, don't be sorry, it's fine. Okay, so I'm now heading into the city of Sarajevo itself, and the two young chaps I was speaking to that I thought were Americans but were Bosnians, they recommended I go to the old city and then also to there's a park they recommended in the centre with some memorials to it, you know, obviously from the war. So that's another place I'll go. And then there's also some tunnels from the war that I would quite like to go and check out. So if that's a possibility, we'll find those and we'll go there. That's broadly the plan. Do we always achieve the plan? No. Do we sometimes achieve more than the plan? Yes. So let's go. Yeah, it is the same day. I just changed into this shirt because it's so hot today, and a black cotton t-shirt is probably not the one. So yeah, let's go and find what we find in Sarajevo. I think this is for watching the football, the Euros, and the family that I met in the dam a couple of days ago did tell me about this place. They told me I could come and watch England versus Serbia, but maybe that wouldn't be such a good idea, who knows. That is a seriously heavy door. That is really, really heavy. Not for the first time. I just sort of find myself wandering now, just wandering around looking at things, which is not really time efficient. This is why I need a tour guide, like when I had Leo in Florence. Far more time efficient, but I don't know, I'm quite enjoying it, just wandering around. There's this mixture of like, similar to Zagreb, I suppose. Like some of the facades are falling away and then some have been really well maintained and sort of neoclassical styles have been replaced. But I need to get a bit more focused, that's for sure.
Now, Sarajevo actually has a really long and interesting history, but in terms of recent history, in the 1990s during the Bosnian War, the Serbians surrounded Sarajevo and they effectively sieged it for something like 4 years. So this city, very recently, was besieged for 4 years. Now that's why there's a tunnel which we're going to go and see, hopefully. But it's not the only thing that I want to find around here, which I think is interesting, and a remnant from that war. And it should just be on the ground somewhere around here. Right, I found it. So if you can see that whole depression in the ground, which has been filled with red resin, although some of the red resin has since disappeared, that marks spots where there were mortar strikes inside the city. Clearly, we're right in the middle of the city. It's people using mortars. And where some of those mortar strikes were fatal, they filled the area afterwards, obviously, they filled the area with red resin, just as a kind of permanent live reminder of what happened here. I mean, it's just 30 years ago, not even 30 years ago. So yeah, very, very recent, very fresh history. Now, just over this little bridge that I'm walking on is where arguably the most impactful event in the world ever took place, which you might be thinking, well, why haven't you heard of it in Sarajevo? But hear me out. Now, just this spot here, I'm not sure exactly where, but is where the Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated. And it's effectively the event that started the First World War, and without the First World War, there wouldn't really have been a Second World War. And he also, unfortunately, killed the Archduke's wife. And there's quite a harrowing tale of the exchange of words between them as they were both dying in the back of the car, which you can go and look up, but it's very, very sad. Yeah, quite a somber place. If certain events hadn't happened here on this street just down the way, you wouldn't have had 2 world wars, and God knows what else would have happened or not happened, you know? I believe there's some footsteps, so you can see exactly where Gavrilo was stood when he assassinated Franz Ferdinand. But for now, I can't see them anywhere. Yes, I can. I've just found them because there's loads of people taking photos. We'll go and have a look. Well, I just thought I'd show you in the shop. I asked the lady if I could take a photo of the prices, but cigarettes, I mean, I don't smoke anymore, and you may not be familiar with the price of cigarettes in the UK, but 5 marks. Now, 5 marks is exactly €2.50. €2.50 is about £2. So £2 for a pack of cigarettes. Whereas in the UK, it's what, 12, 13 quid? It's a big, big difference. And I think that's why everyone here smokes. It's like, it's actually a really cheap habit to smoke. Probably cheaper than any kind of nicotine replacement or vaping or anything like that. I'm thinking that maybe this is the park that the 2 chaps were telling me about earlier. Might not be, it's quite small. Maybe I should actually look it up. But we'll go and take a look anyway, see what it is. Right, I'm going to head back to the car now because I didn't quite realise this, but the tunnels are a 2-hour walk away. So Sarajevo, obviously a very big city, so I'm going to get back in the car, drive, park somewhere a little bit closer, and yeah, we'll investigate these tunnels. Really looking forward to it. But yeah, I'm not walking 2 hours to get there. We'll definitely drive. So this is the University of Sarajevo, or part of the University of Sarajevo. And then around you've just got some other kinds of buildings. Maybe that's student accommodation, I don't know. I guess that's like their Senate Hall, maybe, where people go to graduate and things like that. It's a nice building, it's a very nice building. Congratulations to them. Okay, well, I've arrived at the entrance to the Tunnel Museum where we can, I'm fairly sure, take a look in some of the tunnels, not all the way through, but you can see, I mean, it's pretty impressive. You can see part of the building actually in front of me. It has all these bullet holes and it's been shot to pieces. So we're inside what would have been, you know, the guy's house, someone's house, I don't know whose house exactly. And this is where they effectively just went into the basement and dug a tunnel out of Sarajevo so that they could smuggle in food, ammunition, everything they needed to. And interestingly, here's some famous people who've been here. You've got Morgan Freeman, Gillian Anderson. Is that Daniel Craig, maybe? John Travolta, Richard Gere, Orlando Bloom. Controversial one, having Kevin Spacey on your list. That is a real makeshift. I mean, these are all kind of makeshift weapons, aren't they? Yeah, when you understand the mechanics of a pistol, rifle, it's really not that complicated to build one with a nail and a bit of pipe. But yeah. Now these are the faces of all the volunteers who were digging the tunnel itself, and they were paid not in cash, but they were paid in cigarettes, which, if you're besieged, is probably actually a pretty good currency, because what's cash when you can have cigarettes? Particularly when, you know, having been in the army, when things are pretty rough, cigarettes are kind of your go-to. They're a little bit of a pick-me-up. They shouldn't be, it's bad. I'm not promoting it. But facts are facts, you know. Mind-altering substances like nicotine do have their effect. Down here you can see some of the digging tools they would have used, the wheelbarrow and everything. Now we get to walk this tunnel. It's obviously kept clean and well lit now, so it almost makes it seem like it's a lot nicer than it probably would have been. Now you've got like fresh air being circulated in and pumped in and things like that. It wouldn't have been this nice back then, but you get the raw feeling, you get the sense of height. You kind of got the railway tracks on the floor. It's very cool. It's just a little bit too low that you would hit your head if you weren't careful. And up ahead, that's pretty cool. You can see the train cart that would have been used to transport things through this tunnel. Look at this. I guess it's like an old mining gizmo or something maybe. And yeah, it just goes on these tracks. Some kind of engine. Probably some old Soviet engine. Very cool. Field telephone. Oh man, I'm pretty made up with that. That's not the full tunnel. The full tunnel is longer than that. I'm not sure if parts of it have collapsed or what, but yeah, you can't walk the full tunnel anymore, unfortunately. But pretty cool to be able to even do that much. It's probably been reinforced actually, given that there's an airfield on top of it. I don't really know what construction standards are like in Bosnia, but I suspect probably it's been reinforced. Oh man, chuffed with that. Now this map is actually really helpful to explain the situation, which I've probably not done very well up until now, but you can see you've got the Serbian forces surrounding all the way around Sarajevo, and they did this for about 4 years. Now you can also see lots of the Olympic sites, and actually here is where the bobsled track is. That's where we were, well, just this morning actually. And I guess this is what it looked like once the war was finished. The tunnel had flooded and was partially collapsed. That's why some of these museums, which are like passion projects to someone and obviously need funding to keep them going, I'm quite happy to, you know, spend the money and keep something like this alive, because if it wasn't for someone establishing this as a museum, the whole tunnel would have collapsed by now and there'd be nothing there and it'd be gone forever. But you know, a 15 mark entrance fee to keep this place sustainable and going is worth it, in my opinion. But yeah, it's amazing seeing some of these photos actually. Although, it does make you wonder how they weren't caught. It's a bit blasé, just chilling out. Look, there you go, there you can see from the house, straight underneath the airport. Odds on that being deactivated are probably slim to none. They're probably in full working order, I would imagine. I could be wrong. Ah, no way. This is a bit of ingenuity, right? So obviously, as I said, power, effective or heating went out. So they took a Fiat engine and then you've got the exhaust and everything all cobbled together and turned it into some kind of petrol-powered fuel station. I don't really know how that works. Not fuel station, power station. I don't know how that works, but that's pretty cool. I suppose necessity really is the mother of invention. Yeah, I like that.
Well, now that I've left Sarajevo, my internet's kind of disappeared again. You know, I've spoken about it before, but the Bosnian mobile data coverage is a bit lacking, and I think that's because everywhere's mountainous, so it's quite difficult. But I just thought, well, I can't find somewhere good on Park for Night because the app isn't working. So I'll just take the road less travelled. And I came across this, and it's like an abandoned bar, I guess. Rock and stock. It looks pretty cool, so we're going to go inside, obviously, take a look. Be respectful, but yeah, we'll take a look inside and see what's going on. "2012. Interesting-ish. Well, actually, not really. Not that interesting, if I'm completely honest. You let me down there, rock and stock. I wonder how you get upstairs. Very nice. I reckon this place at one time would have been pretty cool. Lots of rock music playing. Well, look, if I'm being completely blunt, if you told me you knew where there was a rock bar that was abandoned in the mountains in Bosnia, I would say, oh my God, let's go. But actually, it's pretty boring. Oh well, right, we move on. So to maybe paint a better picture, you have the main road running to my destination, which is close to the border with Serbia. And then there's like a parallel road that's running off it. And I thought, well, I'll jump on there and I'll find somewhere to park, hopefully with a bit of phone signal. Hasn't really worked out like that. But this sort of road that runs parallel eventually rejoins the main road. Now, my theory is that this road, which is well tarmacked but not maintained at all, so sometimes there's big potholes or like rock slides and trees and stuff in the way. My theory is that this used to be the main road, and hence why you've got another abandoned sort of restaurant thing here, and they redid it, reshaped it, I guess for whatever reason, and this is just now disused effectively. This will eventually just break apart and turn into a track. That's my theory as to why you have all these disused restaurants running along here. Could be wrong, but I'm 99% sure I'm not wrong, and that is correct. I also haven't seen a single vehicle along here for maybe 20 minutes of driving. In fact, that's the only vehicle I've seen. That's the first vehicle I've seen for about 20 minutes of being on this road. Not all driving, but yeah. But interesting, so I guess it's just like an abandoned motorway and you've got all these places. It doesn't really look like they want people to go in there, so I'll probably take a bit of a nosy, but not be too aggressive. It's not that interesting, and there's not that much here. This area is all locked up, so maybe there is something there, but I'm not breaking into someone owns this, I'm not breaking in, you know. Jesus. Good as new. I guess this is maybe an old pizza oven. Or an old oven of some kind. Maybe that was the kitchen area. Not too sure. It was probably a really nice place at some point. Right. One of these days it'll be something interesting. This is a little bit random, but I see so many of these places that I feel like if I don't stop and show you one, I haven't even shown you Bosnia. It's just, obviously there's like some logging activity and whatever, but then there's just these crazy old trucks. Like there's the cab of an old MAN truck, some kind of old Ford Transit. I don't even know what that is, but yeah, I mean, there's just all sorts of weird and wonderful things. And actually, I see that all over Bosnia. I saw it a little bit in Croatia, but I see it all over in Bosnia. Maybe because it's all mountainous, and I guess sometimes a truck really does just break down to the point where you're like, whatever, you just leave the keys in the ignition, and if someone wants it, they can have it. I don't know, but I see places just like this. I mean, here's a trailer. I don't really know how a trailer could break down. That's probably in use. But anyway, it's just so bizarre. And I feel like if I don't show you one of these weird little places at the side of the road, I haven't shown you Bosnia. So there we go. We've seen it. Right, onwards. And I've changed my destination a little bit. I'm going to Srebrenica, which is probably where I will end the video, but you'll want to stick around for that because it's a very interesting place for all the wrong reasons. So let's go. Just another one, thought I'd check it out. Oh my god. That is a human. Ugh, I can tell because there's toilet paper with it, and dogs and animals don't do that. I don't know who's just... It's on the floor, right? It's not in a bag or anything, it's just on the floor. So someone has literally just taken a dump there. If I get good phone signal, this could be a place to stay for the night, but not with all the poo. I've got to park somewhere away from the poo. I can't work out if that building is abandoned or if people are living there, but there is only one way to find out. Ah, so it was some kind of hotel. I don't know that last guy. Hotel Damala? Not too sure. Wow. I am being observed though, there is a man over there. But yeah, this is Srebrenica. And this was the Hotel Damala, I guess. And this gentleman's probably wondering what on earth I'm doing. Well, I've had quite an interesting day here in Srebrenica. It's a place which, according to history, the historical line, particularly according to the Bosnian Muslims, there was a massacre here of 8,000 civilian Bosnian Muslims by Serbian Christian forces. I bring the religion into it because it's a relevant part of the discussion, I think. And that's not the story that's believed by everyone, but the historical line and the... I'm not going to go into the politics of what is and isn't true, is that 8,000 men were rounded up from the town of Srebrenica and taken into the forest and executed. Now they refer to that as the Srebrenica genocide here in Bosnia, but as I say, not everyone thinks that events happened quite like that. And what's really interesting is I spent 4 hours today at a cafe chatting to a guy, a Christian guy, who doesn't believe that that's quite what happened. He thinks that a lot of the bodies and a lot of the people that were found were actually fighters. So it's a little bit contested, but nonetheless, it's a place with a really, really bloody history. There is no doubt that those people died. Their bodies were recovered from mass graves. There is so much evidence of the pain and suffering left in Srebrenica because there's so many houses that They're not abandoned, and abandoned isn't the right word, but they're unoccupied, presumably because they're previous inhabitants. This is only 30 years ago, simply never returned. So you can see some of the pain in the buildings, what appear to me to be bullet holes in a lot of the buildings that simply haven't been renovated and are just being left to rot effectively. Something I do absolutely believe is the chap I was speaking to in the cafe. He's from Sarajevo, where I was yesterday, and he's a Serbian Christian living in Bosnia, okay? And he said when the Serbian forces surrounded Sarajevo, the Bosnian Muslims in Sarajevo rounded up and put into camps a lot of the Serbian Christians, and he was one of them. And he said he was the person who spent the longest time in a camp, or one of them, because they were all released together at the very, very end of the war. And he said he was effectively starved almost to the point of death until someone gave him some kind of like fluids. His body weight dropped down to 35 kilograms, and he's not a small guy, you know. And he just told this harrowing story of just not having food, just sleeping on the floor, you know, going to the loo in the corner. I mean, it was really hard to listen to, and actually you can tell by listening to the pain in his voice that everything that he was saying there was absolutely true. So what's clear to me is there's clearly so much pain in the Balkans, so much pain between Serbia, Bosnia, Croatia, and I get the sense that it's not all resolved. Anyway, we'll go to Serbia next and we'll take a look there. Oh, there's one thing I haven't shown you. There's the reason I'm up here in the hills, as I usually am, and not down in the town, is because up here there's some healing springs, and the minerals have like changed the colour of the water. I'll show you now. It's very, very cool. Come on. Sinus water. The spring of sinus healing water is yet another gem in a series of medicinal waters found in Guba Resort. It's taken by nasal ingestion, snorting. Now luckily for me, I don't have any sinus symptoms at the moment, so I don't have to worry about that, snorting the water. But here it is, look. You can see all the discoloration in the soil all the way up the bank where water has flown. And that's all the minerals. I don't know which mineral it is specifically, but very, very cool that it's changed the colour of everything. Yeah, awesome. This, I believe, is meant to be a kind of resort where they leveraged the power of the healing waters from the springs here, sort of commercialised it a little bit. But from speaking to the locals, well, they couldn't really give me a good explanation as to why it was closed. Maybe it's not profitable. I'm not too sure. I mean, it's not entirely finished, which is, you know, not a good sign. But I think we can take a look around, and there should be another water source somewhere around here. Hopefully we can find it, because it's quite cool. Oh wow, no way. That is cool. Now all the way up there must be the spring. That's the sort of original source of this water. But as you can see, access forbidden. How's that for a view? Pretty cool. Unfortunately it says access forbidden, which is really frustrating for me, because I would love to go up there, find the original source of that spring and just see it, I guess, but not going to happen, which is unfortunate. This doesn't feel like the most stable building that I'm walking on either. There's quite a few holes in what I'm walking on, but it'll be alright, maybe. And that's the colour of the water itself. That or it's a bottle of someone's piss. Who knows? Well, we may as well have a look in these buildings since the doors are open. Little birdie. It's quite cool. Yeah, very nice. We started getting the plumbing in, but that is classic Bosnian brickwork, by the way. It's all terrible. Building standards here are awful. Hello? What?
For that, your phone needs a mobile or Wi-Fi connection first.
Thanks. What the fuck? Whoa, okay. I get the vibe possibly someone lives here or at least uses this space, so I'll get out of here, I think. Even though I doubt they own it, I'm still gonna just respect their space.